So,
Recording?
yes, yes.
Okay, I want to,
Audience with that.
we're going to
At
the
least they're friendly.
YM, Coastside County Water District Board of Directors meeting, and want to ask for roll call, please.
Director Coverdale,
Yes, here.
Director Michelson,
Here.
Vice President Mueller,
Here.
President Feldman.
Here. Okay, can we have the pledge of allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
With liberty and
justice. Amen. Thank you all. Okay, item 3, public comments, all right? Members of the public here who wish to address the board either in public here or on Zoom. Okay, seeing no one here and no hands raised on Zoom, we will move to item number 4, the consent calendar. Are there any comments on the consent calendar? Any items any member of the board wishes to modify or comment on before we ask for a motion to approve?
This was my month to review the claims and I found them.
All right, thank you for that. Director Michelson, anything else? With that, I'll ask,
I'd like to move we approve the consent calendar as presented.
do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All righty. Call the roll, please.
Okay, Director Coverdale,
Yes.
Director Michelson.
Yes.
Vice President Mueller,
Aye.
President Feldman.
Yes. Okay, number 5. Meetings attended or director comments? Any,
We had a meeting of the facilities committee, which we'll report in more detail. And we looked at some very interesting proposals and opportunities with regard to our system tank realities and storage realities. We met with our consulting engineer from EKI, Jonathan Sutter, that's I think. And he's really done a great job for the district. We also met with our superintendent of operations and superintendent of water treatment and got some terrific input as to why the proposals were as they were. I'm a new member to that committee because we have a member who has resigned from the board. And I found it to be incredibly detailed, very well presented, and pretty exciting. And now we need a fairly large pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So I'm talking to leprechauns because I think I'm just about in the right time for that. And hopefully we'll be able to figure out a way to actually pursue the plan. The plan's pretty exciting.
I appreciate that. I presume from Mary's perception that we will hear more about this going forward and on part of our financial planning and budgeting process, correct? Okay, thank you for your input. Other comments, director meeting?
No, Ken pretty much touched on the highlights.
Okay. Thank you for that. All righty, given that, then we'll go to item 6, general business. First item is item A, recognize former Director Glenn Reynolds for his leadership and dedicated services on the Coastside County Water District Board of Directors. I'll ask Mary to take that and tell us about that, please. Thank you.
So on February 23rd, we received notice from Director Glenn Reynolds, who's in the audience tonight, of his resignation from the board. And Director Reynolds, we'd like to recognize him, given his 14 years of service on the board of directors at Coastside. So on behalf of the district's entire staff, I would like to express our appreciation and acknowledge Director Reynolds for his numerous contributions to the district. Director Reynolds served on the board from 2011 to 2026. During his tenure, he served as president of the board in 2014, 2017, 2021, and 2025. Director Reynolds also served for 14 years on the district's facilities committee, where he brought his thoughtful leadership, commitment, and vision to the district's 10-year capital improvement program. Director Reynolds played an instrumental role in bringing key infrastructure improvements to the district's water system to fruition, and that will benefit the community for generations to come. Some of the district's infrastructure projects that were completed during Director Reynolds' years of service on the board include the Denison Water Treatment Plant Improvement Project, the Nunes Water Treatment Plant Improvement Project, the Denison Booster Pump Station and Pipeline Project, El Granada Pipeline Final Phase Replacement Project, and implementation of the digital water meters and advanced metering structure, which he did before most of the Bosca agencies, by the way, and the Carter Hill Stress Concrete Tank and Size Praise Project. These represent many, many millions of dollars worth of infrastructure projects for the district. So Director Reynolds also served 4 years on the district's Strategic Planning Advisory Committee and has continually demonstrated his commitment to good governance and the fiscal health and sustainability of the district's systems and water supplies. So staff would like to extend our sincere gratitude to Director Reynolds for his many years of service to the district and the Coastside community.
Barry, thank you for those kind words. I want to say that this district is really unique in that the respect that goes back and forth between the board members and the staff is exemplary in the industry. And it's some of the best I've ever seen. And our board members don't always agree with each other, but they always respect each other and they want to hear the other opinion. And it's really unique. And it's really a very powerful, impressive accolade that you four people have and bring to the table. And you do it, you do it without holding back. And I'm really impressed. And I want to say I'm really honored to have been working with you. I think the respect that you show to the staff and the value you put into who the staff are and how they work is really impressive. And I want to say the honor of being part of this team is really felt by me towards the great work you've done. And so I would say thank you to what an impressive group you are. And I feel like you've really touched me, every single one of you. And what a great job you've done.
Thank you, Glenn. You've been a busy boy here for the last 14 years. We appreciate that.
I already read that, but I felt like it spent a lot of money.
And I want to ask the director to give their thoughts while you're here, please.
Yeah. I have comments. I want to tell you, Glenn, that when I first met you, I was on a tour of the Hatchatchee water system.
I remember that.
On a bus ride. And I kept hearing you speaking with various people and kept thinking, gosh, this guy knows so much. What am I doing on this bus? You know, and as you moved to the community and got developed here in Princeton Harbor in a really special location environmentally and, you know, in terms of water quality, where you live is kind of the last chance before the fresh water hits our local Bay Area. And I've watched the way you've protected that and taken care of it. But what's impressed me the most is how much information and how much knowledge and how much education you bring and have brought to the board. You know, every time we've had a question, you know, why would we disinfect this way? Or what's the best kind of pipe? Or, it was just so amazing to have a member of the board. I mean, I'm an old guy on the board. I've been around about 30 years. So, you know, we need term limits, but we don't have them yet, fortunately. But what impressed me the most was you've been the most knowledgeable board member in terms of what we do as a district, which is produce the best possible water we can at the best possible price. You've come up with incredible suggestions. To me, the top hat of your formal wear is making sure that we got engaged in this cement tank that's up at Nunes. That's going to probably last 100 years compared to these old metal tanks that we've been renovating for years and years. So I really thank you for that. And I thank you for being so generous with your time and your energy in the water district. So it's been a pleasure to get to know you and a pleasure to work with you and mostly be educated by you.
Thank you, Director Coverdale.
Yeah, I got a comment.
Michelson.
Yeah, no, I just really want to thank you for bringing big district expertise to our small district. Because, you know, let the big guys figure out, you know, what methods work, what is cost effective. We, as a small district, we can't afford to make mistakes. You know, the bigger guys, it's probably, you know, it gets lost in the noise. But what you have brought to us is really what works. And on a personal level, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Thank you for bringing us AMRs. I still hear to this day at BOSCA meetings that a number of districts do not have automatic meter. It just boggles the mind. And on a personal level, I've received at least 3 phone calls. Director Michelson, you left the hose on. So thank you very, very much.
Director Muller.
Yeah, I'll lighten it up a little bit, but every time the well is giving me problems and a broken pipe somewhere, I think of you and all the value you've given to this district and all the great comments are made, and I'm gonna just figure out where you're gonna go in the world, but we have to always remember you. So my wife gave me a pack of her forget-me-not seeds. So, got to plant them here or the next place you move, you'll always be thinking of us, and they reseed themselves.
Perfect.
And
right.
yeah, they're very good.
Perfect.
And I took one of those away from San Francisco this Saturday, but I gotta go in the pickup and get one to take back to San Francisco. But we're donating flower and vegetable seeds to San Francisco Saturday morning somewhere down there. And I just have to figure out how to get there, but you guys are all telling me, go that way, go that way. And so it'll be an honor, but it was an honor to serve with you, Mr. Chair. And everyone just spoke the real key words to you, so God bless you. And keep her level if you're in the air.
Well, what can I say after it's all been said? All I can say is on behalf of the board, the staff, and the community of Half Moon Bay, thank you for your service. You're incredibly productive and thoughtful and determined and committed service to this community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, Sam, he's gonna solve all the problems next.
No, go to.
I'm a big guy, I make mistakes.
Mary, we have a guest tonight,
Yes.
Aceto Dam and Reservoir Improvement Project Status Update, presented by San Francisco Public Utilities Commission, Mr. Steve Ritchie, the Assistant Director of the SFPUC for Water, and Allison Katama for accompanying him from our BOSCA and SFPUC Coordinator for SFPUC. Thank you for coming, Steve. You have a presentation for us. I'll leave it to Mary to hear that.
Yes. You took away my thunder by introduction, but.
It's on a roll, what can I say?
Yes.
There you go.
So, we can move forward and.
Yeah, good evening, board members, staff.
It's a pleasure for me and Allison to be here tonight to, update you on obviously a very important reservoir for you, and where we are in the world with that. And yes, I won't take a slide on these. Yeah, those big guys, they can afford to make mistakes. You can't really tell. But we can make some doozies, believe me, we have had some good ones. But no, again, both Alice and I are very happy to be here and, be available to you for any questions you might have, particularly on this topic, but if there's something else that we can, inform you about, we're very happy to do that. So I've got a set of slides here, that I'm going to talk about, the Pillarcito Salmon Reservoir. We were here, I guess, last summer, I think it was, to talk about the restrictions that have been placed on the reservoir level in the dam, and the fact that we had to deal with that because of dam safety issues. So I'm here to let you know where we are in that process. First, just here's our, a map of the lake itself, and right there down at the bottom is where the dam is. And the spillway is right there adjacent to the dam. If you haven't ever been there, you ought to get out there sometime and take a look at it. And we can certainly accompany you. And then up that right-hand arm there is what's called the forebay, which is another key element of the dam structure. It is an emergency release that can go through tunnel number 1 over to let's see, yeah, that's San Mateo Creek we're at there. Yeah, that's the upper above Lower Crystal Springs. So that's the set of structures that we're dealing with. And I would emphasize the dam is one significant structure by itself. The spillway for the Division of Safety of Dams is, a second be a very key element. And the third is what's there at the forebay as the emergency release structures. So those 3 elements of every dam are the ones that they really pay close attention to. And have affected their thinking and our thinking on how we deal with Pillarcito Salmon Reservoir. So for the next slide. You skipped one.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, I skipped one. I don't know. One of the things that we've dealt with on this. The Division of Safety of Dams has, concerns about the reservoir and the dam. It's rated Pillarcito Dam as poor. There are various categories there can be at. This one is poor. There are a few poor dams in the state. The next level up, I believe, is fair, and then satisfactory. And I think there's even an A+ category, but I don't know the name of that because I'm not sure we ever get there for that, but we do pretty well. But they're concerned about all 3 of the factors, emergency release, spillway, and dam structures. So we had a meeting with DSOD last October to talk about what we were going to do on this dam and 2 other dams in the regional system. Excuse me, San Andreas Dam and Turner Dam, which is over in Alameda County. And we had put together a plan for improvements of all those dams, and these were all reasonably big projects. And so we knew we couldn't do them all at once. There's just no way you could actually, even our resources would be stretched, and the amount of money at play would be pretty significant. And so we laid out a schedule there, and our feedback from DSOD in that meeting fell into a few particular places. One, and this was a learning experience for me. As a poor dam, Pillarcito is a high priority for them. From the DSOD perspective, they're responsible for dam safety throughout California. So the people who are judging their performance are looking at, what's the state of the dams in California. And so if they see poor dams, they say, what are you doing about it? And I heard that loud and clear at the meeting with DSOD that they wanted to make sure that we were taking steps to get it off the poor list. The initial proposed schedule that we gave them was longer and farther out than they had expected. I think they're realistic that it takes time to develop projects, and because they cost a lot of money, you have to space them out over time. But we had packaged each one of them as a complete dam project, something that would take care of everything. emergency releases, spillways, structural issues with the dam. So when we talked to them, they said, well, actually, what we think is a good idea, and I was happy to hear them say this, that they would be interested in us doing smaller interim projects that can be accomplished in a shorter term. So rather than thinking you have to fix the whole thing, take steps just to improve the situation, which I think we heard that loud and clear from them as well. Again, for us, that really came down to prioritizing improvements to the outlet works. A dam project, is a big project, the physical structure of the dam. Spillways are big projects. The outlet works projects are generally considered to be a little bit easier because you're just moving. You have to be able to evacuate a certain amount of the water in a dam in a short period of time to make sure it's safe, so that if there's some problem with the dam, you can quickly move water out so there's not a larger amount of water that's going to go through a dam failure and affect downstream people, which obviously in your case, you're the downstream people, so that's very important to you for Pillarcitos. So we sent a letter to DSOD back in February of this year as part of our capital improvement program. We restructured the plan to have interim projects done for each of these dams, and then longer term, get to the bigger projects, which will take more time, and everybody acknowledges that. And we're actually going to, have a significant visit with the Division of Safety of Dams for those dams next month. That is going to take place with us. We go to the next slide. This is the updated implementation schedule that we put together for those. Pillarcitos you see in this, but this is basically for the collection of dams, San Andreas, Pillarcitos, and Turner. And so for the outlet works improvements, we're looking at something that for San Andreas, you don't have a particular interest in San Andreas, but it basically is in the hills above Melbray and Birmingham. And the only way we can move water out of that is what we call through a blow off, which means it goes into the urban creeks down there. So we think that we should do a project there, but it's going to be a small project because you can't put that much water down through the urban areas on that side. For the Pillarcitos Dam Outlet Works retrofit project, I'll talk about that one in a little more detail in a second. And on the Turner Dam, we actually have to do some additional studies to get information there. But you see for the Pillarcitos Dam Outlet Works retrofit project, it talks about a 7-year timeline to get to construction, and I'll address that in a second in the next slide, because even that feels like a long time. But capital projects do take a long time in many cases, so we have to deal with that. The long-term projects, they stretch out all the way to 2052. That's the nature of our capital program at this point in time, part of trying to keep our rates affordable for all of our customers, including all the wholesale customers and the retail customers in San Francisco. Next slide, please. So for Pillarcitos, the interim upgrades we're looking at are an Outlet Works retrofit project. We're in the middle of planning work right now, and we're identifying options to provide reliable outlet works at Pillarcitos Dam. The estimated budget we have right there now is about $34 million for that project. And on the right is a picture of the forebay structure, which is the forebay outlet, which is the existing outlet works. And you'll note from the text there, I believe it was constructed in 1913. It is seismically unsafe. And if we did something there, it would be a bit more of a challenge, because this definitely falls in the category of a historic structure. So we would have to deal a lot with that. So one of the things that we are considering, and it's actually, it ended up on the list on the next page, which is part of the long-term project, we're looking at an outlet structure that would go basically either around or under the dam. One of the things, in fact, I think, yep, Glenn's still here. Yep. I think when we talked about this possibility last time, I think he looked at that and said, that looks great. Why don't you just do it and get it over with? And I'm falling into that camp really a lot these days. Because what it would do would basically find a way to build an outlet structure that the key thing would be to have it not go through the dam. If you go through the dam, you're disturbing the dam, and that just is all sorts of red flags for the SOD. So basically having it go around the side of the dam, through the bedrock on the side of the dam, or actually deep underneath the dam. So you're well below the dam structure or where the structure might be if we rebuild the dam. That would be a good way to do it. And so it would be a variety of different things to do that. But that seems like the most attractive option there because we would be doing it on the dam. We wouldn't be anywhere near the historic outlet structure there. So that's kind of the basic idea on that. And I think that we talked about getting the construction in 7 years. I'm quite confident that DSOD is going to press us to get it done sooner than that. And I conveyed that message to our staff that, if we're doing this as a normal project, it's going to take a while. Let's find ways to accelerate it so that we can get this done more quickly. Because if we can get the outlet structure, improved, so that the SOD at that point, I think, would take it off the pour list, which would be a good thing for all of us. Let's go to the next slide. So for the whole long-term project, we are in the planning phase. We are evaluating the downstream conditions because downstream Pillar Cheetos is Stone Dam. And so the operation of our dam or both our dams, operating in Pillar Cheetos in conjunction with Stone Dam is a key part of this in terms of stewardship of Pillar Cheetos Creek. So we need to take that into account. We've got two basic alternatives that we have developed for Pillar Cheetos. One, which is the preferred alternative for us, is basically to accept a permanent reservoir restriction of some sort. Right now, I believe the water level is restricted by about 20 feet. Now it can go, when you get wet weather, it always can go up, but you have to bring it back down to 20 feet lower than what it normally is. So we would accept some kind of restriction on the reservoir level. We would actually lower the spillway. We would have this new discharge outlet to Pillar Cheetos Creek is what I was talking about as the interim project. And the approximate budget for that would be about $190 million. That would have least construction on the dam, because the dam construction is what's the most expensive part of one of these projects. So this would have the minimal construction cost relative to any work on the dam, because it'd be really restricted to the spillway area. Can I have the next slide? The second alternative is basically new facilities, a new dam embankment, a new enlarged spillway, and again, the same outlet works through the dam abutment. So the approximate budget for that is in excess of $350 million. So that gets to be, like I said, when you're rebuilding a dam, it gets really expensive. We had experience with that recently with Calaveras Dam, where we had to rebuild the dam. And that was a very expensive project. We're quite happy it's done, but it took a lot out of us in terms of money, and time and energy and everything. So that's where we are. I think we're going to know a bit more after we have the DSOD folks down in April to look at these facilities and talk through our proposal with them and talk through with them the alternatives. Hopefully we will get to some place where we can move forward and take action as soon as we can on the new outlet works and move on to the big project overall. So that is, I think. Oh, that's right, current operations, I forgot. I can remember that. So the current operations, we currently have the restricted reservoir elevation until we, it's certainly if we can get the outlet work cleared up, we might get some relief on that, but it's not going to be total. So we're going to be living with the restriction for as long as it takes to get the bigger project done. I think we've done a good job so far in improving the two siphons there for stream releases. And so we're hopeful that that will continue to serve us well as we go forward. And in fact, you can see the two parallel pipelines there go out into the reservoir, and then they come over to the spillway. So then they go down the spillway and dump into the creek down there. And that seems to be working. We have been in contact a lot with National Marine Fisheries Service, and they seem satisfied currently with the way the operation is going. So I think that we're in a relatively good position for environmental review as well. But that's always a little bit of a crapshoot as you move forward. That's the last slide. So happy to answer any questions.
Are any questions, please, from the board?
The historical significance of the Leaning Tower of Torrecitos, as you might call it. Was that determined by an architectural group, or how does that appear? Is that just someone looking, or?
In the world that we deal with, anything that's older than 50 years, is historic. So I think the board is primarily historic. I think we're all historic. But those are the things that we have to deal with. The structure that was built in 1913, it was built by the Spring Valley Water Company. I think all of our assessments would clearly put it into the category of an historic structure that would cause us to need to consult with the State Historic Preservation Officer.
Yeah. And because the construction of that particular tower really predates kind of formal engineering. I mean, it's sort of looks like the masons showed up and, mixed up some mortar and kind of.
And that looks like it did, but it survived, well, didn't survive the 06 earthquake. It survived the 89 earthquake. One of the things I did ask one of our folks at the end just yesterday, it was like, if the outlet is down at the bottom of that, what's the point of the tower?
Yeah.
She didn't have an answer off the top of her head, but I'm still pressed on that.
I think it's a sort of a fish review station, isn't it?
I don't know. But
Anyway, I don't underestimate that.
No,
I was curious.
I think our assessment is this would get a pretty good close look by the State Historic Preservation Officer.
Yeah, thank you.
And we might have to, rebuild it, or I would hope not rebuild it. I would hope
Yes.
have a nice model of it on the side that people can visit and look at.
John, do you have a question?
No, I'd like to just pass a little history on to our great friends of San Francisco and the water department. Our farm is on Torrecitos Creek at the end of it here.
Right.
And I defend in all the flood years that washes away our fields. And I tell the neighbors, they didn't open the dam. We got 30 inches of rain. And speaking of that, I believe when was with you in the city, I brought you a form of the rainfall records from the 1700s. And boy, great timers. And then I'll kind of light it up a little bit, but inherited from the old timer, a book was written, and it was about Searsville Lake. And Spring Valley wanted to take it over, and the media was all over the old timer down there at Spring Valley, at Portola Valley. And San Francisco, and I'll be very cautious here, they ended up sending down a couple females to visit him. And guess what? He agreed to sell a couple days later. That's when San Francisco got things done. That's in my book. I should show you that book someday. It's a great book. It was written in 1920. And boy, I like to keep old stuff. And the other one too, I was gonna donate it here. I inherited a pry bar that was used to move the big granite boulders on O'Shaughnessy, and a 10-prong fork when they had to clean the mule pens and everything. And the pitchfork, when you touch that thing, it just gives you memories of it. And I was so lucky to inherit it, and then I'll have to put it to the museum if San Francisco has a museum someday, because I don't know what my grandkids are gonna do with it. And then great grandpa, who's been very involved in the water world. He was born in South City up on Hillside on a farm with horses in those days in the 20s. And he said, let me tell you, when you went in to clean a barn with a 10-prong fork, you were a real man to lift those things out of the barn. Now they got them 3-prong and this was a 10-prong. And so I should have brought it show and tell. My wife said as a kid, I didn't get to do show and tell, but now I know the bar. I think our staff thought one time, didn't I show you the big fork and the big bar? That
Well-
bar is huge.
Well, Steve, you didn't expect to get this historical.
Yeah.
Well, actually, nostalgia, did you, for,
I would
from John? I mean,
One
this
thing
is
John said. was
pretty
that-
interesting stuff.
Very, oh yeah, I love the interesting stuff, but the key thing he said was, and we always want to keep remembering this, is that, Pillarcitos is not built to, manage flood waters in any way, shape or form. The amount of water that comes down the creek is really just the run of the river.
Right.
So it really depends on how much rain is there. It's not, what are you doing wrong with the dam? We're just watching.
Yeah, that is a misconception in the community here.
Chris, you have some comments?
Yeah, the condition, tunnel 1, what is the current condition of that?
It does need some work as well. It's not in pristine condition. I think I saw a photo of it the other day that there is some relining that would have to be done there. I think, actually, we can go back to the slides a little bit. And I think it's the map slide is the one that would be. Yeah, there. Yeah, tunnel 1 of the things that we talked about is, Pillarcitos Dam was built up here. But if you were thinking just about delivering water to the coastside, you probably would have built the dam way downstream. Because, you didn't need to, have it get all this way. The reason why it was built up here was because you could get water through the hills there over to San Mateo Creek and ultimately to San Andreas, reservoir.
Is that where number 2 goes?
Yeah, that's where number 2 goes. Number 1, it would go through Lower Crystal Springs, which ultimately still will end up going up the Harry Tracy Water Treatment Plant. So tunnel number 1 is something that we're looking at to try to make sure that we keep its function, because that's one of the things we want to make sure that we still have the ability to take advantage of these facilities there.
Okay. And looking at the expenditures and being the Bosco representative, what are other Bosco members saying about the do they have an opinion on the expenditure?
No one has expressed an opinion on this expenditure to me, so.
I see the case that could be made, and I'll leave it at that.
Oh, yeah, no, I think there's a real clear question of like, well, who's gonna benefit from this and how's it gonna work out, and things like that.
Yeah, so
But, everybody shares in the cost of the system with the exception of you guys don't pay for Harry Tracy.
sure.
But the rest of the system.
Well, that's encouraging to hear. No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, that's been the line we've always had. It's everybody's system.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you, and thanks for coming down today.
Sure, absolutely.
Yes, OD's review of the facilities of the tour they'll be taking in April. Do you see any change after that in their perception of things or any difference in what you see today?
I mean, there are 2 aspects to that. One
Sure.
is, it's hard to tell,
Right.
they haven't seen, all these things. And so everybody knows it always makes a difference to see something in the flesh as opposed to just on a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I took some of our commissioners up to see, Mountain Tunnel, and all they'd seen was on a sheet of paper. And when they got up there, it's like, God, this is a big thing. Well, it's the same thing when people get out to see then what the physical conditions are there. And so they will probably have a better appreciation for what we're dealing with here. And of course, the other aspect is just FaceTime with them. We'll be able to spend the day with them and delve further into what their pain points are. Just like I said, the clear pain point I heard was, we want to get rid of the poor designation, and I'm
Right.
totally on board with that. That's gonna help us.
Is poor the lowest?
Yeah, poor is the lowest. Well, below poor is.
Failure.
You're out.
The temporary restrictions, presently in place will stay in place going forward.
Yeah, they will be
For the
staying in
present time
place.
and.
Once we finish the outlet structure, that will probably be our first good opportunity to revisit those restrictions.
Yeah.
And see if we can get a change made. And then the next would be, as we, progress through the rest of the project.
I asked general manager, given these restrictions at this point, has it been able to do our business and see positive, are we able to be confident in our ability to service the community with that set of restrictions at this point? I mean, Darren and me, Tom may have comments. I'm just asking.
Well,
I'm just,
I'll say, with the new stipends and in the last year or so, it's been pretty wet. And so we have been able to utilize Coastside Reservoir. I think, it does though, as we calculated, it cuts our capacity
Sure.
significantly in half. And we really don't want to have to see any further lowering of the reservoir. We have concerns
Yeah.
in drought years and things.
And I don't foresee that there would be any further restrictions than what we're at now. That's pretty extreme. But again, once we can accomplish the first, maybe we can start to talk about, changing the elevation.
I do have one question, and it may be early, but I know you're starting your planning right away for this interim fix and so how will that, do we know how that will impact the operations of the reservoir? Will you be lowering it further, or do we, because we'll need to be a part of that, of understanding what we need to happen.
It really depends on the nature of what the fix is. If we go with along the lines of something we're talking about now, which is an outlet structure, a tunnel or a pipeline through the bedrock around. It depends on how you would construct it. And it might require, basically, you might have to pretty much dry out the reservoir to be able to construct it for some period of time. Probably, it would not be a long period of time because all you'd be doing is punching one hole. But that would be, dependent on exactly, what the design is of the fix.
I would assume that given our relationship thus far and your information and your appearance, to keep us on board and keep us up to speed, you will continue to advise us and keep us
absolutely.
posted on any and all things that may occur that would affect our water supply going forward. And that's the best we can ask for at this point, because we need to know, and this is very important to us. And as you're well aware, this is part of our lifeblood, and any change of any sort that may have impact on that would have to be something we are clear on and that we can keep our community posted on as well. So we look forward to that continuing
Yes.
positive and supportive relationship that you have engendered.
Yeah, we
Very
will,
much
we will
fun.
make sure we fully informed throughout the process of this.
Appreciate that.
And get the good with the bad.
No, I appreciate that. We've done our best to be compliant and to work with you on this up to this point, and do our best to be supportive and professional.
Yeah.
In this relationship, and we
That's
would
one
like
thing
to
my
continue that.
staff always says to me, do you want to hear the good news or the bad news?
Right.
And my answer is, it's all just news. I have to deal with all of it. It doesn't matter.
Okay, thank you for your input and your help and your presence today. We appreciate it.
And Allison and I are both available anytime you have any questions. We see Mary,
Sure.
all the time, and
Any other questions for Steve while he's here, while we have in our pledges? All righty, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming. Thanks, Allison. Appreciate it.
So Director Muller's hoping to pause you guys for a minute.
Oh, hold on, guys.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I forgot something in the front.
Right?
He wants you to see,
Watch
he
it.
wants you to put some seed around the reservoir when you're up there. The people chatting about. I wanna know if you guys are gonna
Do you want?
go traipse through the poison oak and look at the old
It
flume.
ain't pretty.
You ever
I do
seen
not
the
trade through poison oak. I carry a lot of Roundup with me when I see.
In the watershed.
You ever seen the old redwood flumes?
Actually, I haven't.
Okay, we got a.
Redwood flume up there?
Yeah, it's still there.
Get along here.
Yeah, it's, we walked along quite a bit of it,
Yeah.
and looked at it.
I've heard about it, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's incredible, and the condition of the wood's unbelievable.
Okay.
That old redwood,
Right.
yeah.
Great.
It's real redwood though.
Yeah.
Grove red.
Yeah.
It's actually red.
One of the things in San Francisco back in the seventies, they had to reconstruct the cable car line on California. And so it hadn't been opened up for like 100 years. And so they took it all out and then they went into the ground. And that was what the sewers were, was redwood.
We found redwood on Fillmore. That main bridge.
Oh, was there?
Yeah, I don't think it was sewer, so it was
Hey, I'm in history here.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you much.
Okay,
That's good. Thank you. Thank you.
What's up,
Thank you.
Lars? And then
Um,
I have to show this to San Francisco. But in the seventies, we were flower growing, so new bachelor buses. And so
John, you want to
Kennedy.
take it offline? We gotta keep
Caroline Kennedy wedding, we sent thousands of this flowers for her wedding, Weird Life magazine, so. You guys, this was gonna be with the FBI, but we'll share it.
We'll share it with our staff.
Okay, we're gonna go to item C. I guess.
Thank you, John.
Well, John is.
Dollars.
Take care, bye-bye. Thank you, John. Take care. You can come back. Thank you. Item C, Mary, you want to talk to the authorization
I think it was.
to procure a hurricane? Thank you.
Okay. With the new tank project all, near completion, our staff recommends moving forward with the purchase of a blower and ventilation system for THM control. And that would be installed on the roof of the tank. And this item was not included in the DN tank.
I'm sorry.
So, however, DN, they actually provided a hatch in the tank roof designed for a blower. So I'm gonna turn this over to. Yes.
Yes, so if everybody remembers, we did the at Denison, when we did the contact clarifiers and filters upgrade project, we had a change order and we put a blower because we had the company come in and look at it, and they told us the best place to attack this for disinfection byproducts is where our source water enters. So we did it in Denison at that time and put a blower on there. The distribution operations manager and I met out with a different supplier, which is this one. We both really like this one. The housing on it is a non-ferrous metal. It's
Yeah, stainless steel.
well, it's not stainless. They use I think it's HDPE, but I think he had another term for it. Has replaceable screens that are integrated stainless steel inside this thing. So if it ever has it, we can do it ourselves. But and we got the bid on this one because we liked it, and it happened to be $15,000 cheaper. So that's why we're putting it forth on this one. It's our new state-of-the-art tank, and it is where the water goes into distribution, and that's the best place to attack it because once we volatilize them in the tank, they're blown out, and we cannot make THMs with that anymore. So
Any issues with the discharge?
With the discharge.
Anybody have any issues with air quality or?
It's just air.
It's taking air from atmosphere. What happens is it's in conjunction with our mixer. So we're mixing the water in the tank and we're turning it over and you're exposing those volatile, the things we can volatilize, the THMs, to the surface water, and then they'll get in there. But what happens is that airspace just gets flooded with it, and then it won't do it anymore. It just sits there in this. And so by us putting in forced air, we're taking air from outside that has a lower concentration. It blows it in, puts fresh air, it allows it to keep happening. And we have a 2.1 million gallon tank. There's a little bit of residence time in there. So we're trying to take advantage, and we did put the dome roof on there, so we did have a little bit of headspace from 44 feet to 58 feet. So we're recommending that we go forward, put this in, and we'll have it at both entry points to our system.
And what, that is vented also?
The tank itself has a vent.
Okay,
And what we did is we had the contractor DN put a spot for the blower to sit on
yes.
over on the side, and it's taking fresh air from approximately 45 feet away, and it blows it in, and then it's venting it out.
Yeah.
The vent is always part of the tank.
Already existing. Yeah. What kind of energy does something like that require? Is it big time?
That was the other nice thing about this one. They're off the shelf is a 120 volt. It's a 120 amp circuit. That's all it is.
It's a half horse. It's less than it's a half horse, yeah.
And what's the longevity on these blowers?
How long does a motor last? It
Do they run
just
continuously?
Yeah.
runs continuously.
Oh,
It never shuts off.
they could go 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
We have them on our on-site generation systems up there, and the ones that we have running all the time, we'll get 10 to 15 years out of them.
Yeah.
The ones that turn off and on,
Yep.
we're lucky to get a year out of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Well, PG&E likes the same.
So this leads me to believe that going forward, that all concrete and pipe tanks will need this kind of facility and need to be.
And the steel
I know this is all part of the plan. I assume this was all in the engineering and design of the process, and all you're doing is offering us a good mechanism to deal with it. I do have a question about due to my ignorance, is in like the Alps tank. Did we do this in there? Do we have things like this in those tanks?
Well,
I'm just not,
they lowered the standards,
okay,
and so as when the standards got lowered, that's when a lot of other districts have switched to chloramines instead of free chlorine.
okay,
And we are making it as it is, but this just helps us, and there's threatening of them lowering the standards again. So we're trying to get ahead of the game and get.
okay, no,
below
so
that
you're
standard.
just planning ahead.
Yes.
Okay, no, I just wasn't sure. Okay, other
Would you-
questions?
When you say lowering the standards, sounds like they're raising.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's raising.
I just want to get. this
Lowering the
raise and
threshold.
lower
Okay,
it.
lowering the threshold, that's my mistake, yes.
It's not a mistake. I just want to be clear.
Well, we could pretty much
If they're
surmise
lowering the
which way it was
standards, I don't
going.
want the-
Yeah.
I don't want the fan.
Okay. You're doing your work, your homework, and you're
Yeah.
doing your
Good job.
planning, and we're staying ahead of it, so that's what we need to do. Appreciate it. Other questions?
Yeah, I'd like to authorize the general manager to purchase a Hurricane 200 blower for Half Moon Bay Tank number 1 from Doan and Hartwig Water Systems, Inc. for a price of $37,270.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
Sounds like an aptly named device, huh?
Yeah.
Hurricane 200. Can I have a vote, please?
Director Coverdale,
Aye.
Director Michelson,
Yes.
Vice President Millard,
Aye.
President Philman.
Yes. Okay, item B. Consider resolution 2602. Concurring a nomination of John Weed of the Alameda County Water District to the California Water Insurance Fund Board of the Association of California Water Agency Joint Powers Insurance Authority, Aqua JPA.
I know.
I keep hearing Weed's name. This is like, how many things have is he on?
Yeah, everything.
I'm sorry, I just was asking, because it seems like the third one that he's been on. So he likes to participate. And we know him, he's a good guy. I'm just asking, but It's like we could have an ongoing action item on our agenda.
Well, he's an invasive weed.
I thought he's.
I'd like to make.
John, you want
I would like to make the motion. We've known him for years. Alameda Water District's pretty powerful in the
to?
state.
Fine.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, can I have a roll call?
Can I make a comment?
I'm sorry.
As a landscaper, it's kind of hard to vote for a weed. But I know him. When I was on Bosca, I have known him.
I know.
And this guy's so dedicated
I know.
and so committed, and he's everywhere. He works hard.
And you're always on,
From the heart.
always working to beyond things to do things, huh?
So at the risk of sounding like I'm making light about the individual,
No.
it's really the name as opposed to the
No, I
individual.
understand.
This is a great person and works hard for the
It's a fun.
water system.
Okay, so
Director Coverdale,
Aye.
Director Mickelson.
Yes.
President Ball,
Aye.
President Philman.
yes.
Okay, glad we were able to round up that session.
Say what?
Oh, it keeps getting better.
It goes right to the root of the problem.
Okay, item E, not to be last but least, but to be foremost in our view as important item on our agenda and schedule. Holiday Hill Pre-Step Concrete Tank and Seismic Upgrade Project number 17 upgrade. Time flies.
I asked John if he give us the presentation.
All right. So it's been another busy month up there. And as you come in, we have started to backfill. It probably was this month, so the drains are going in, they put in that, the electrical has started on the tank. The tank is in operation right now, it's online and we're using water in and out of it, the permanent line going down is not completed, so it's still a little bit manual. But Darren and I anticipate early next month, it'll be online completely, so.
Okay.
There's some key things that happened this last month was obviously the fill up and disinfection. We did the water tightness testing, tested the overflow. They are putting in the communication conduits down.
Sorry.
It's quite right. They,
Oh, sorry about that.
it's okay. The 20-inch and 24-inch line has been coming up and we're probably about 2 sticks away from turning in and heading into the affluent of the new tank. So it's slow moving process because it's very tight up there. You'll see the pictures. I think that's all the updates for this month. There's a lot of construction going on. And by next month, we will have where the ladder will be able to be used because the backfilling will be complete. So
If you want to
And if
take
there's
those
any
fossil fuels, if you're
questions
US oil
about the
companies,
pictures
that's a
and
goal.
everything, here to answer.
July 2nd is, I mean, July 20 is our date now, is that correct? We're looking pretty good for that date.
Not the second.
No, July 26th, not 20, July 2026.
Tank dedication.
He says, well,
29, right?
July 29th.
July 20.
Oh, okay.
No, I understand.
It's like,
Oh, July 26th.
July completion is still assured.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yes.
know anything
Yes.
else, I'm just asking. Okay, we're still assured for July. That's good. And we're working toward that as a milestone month and timeframe for some acknowledgement of the completion. That's all I was trying to make sure we're
Yeah.
in good form, that's all. Not trying to do anything else. Yes.
could we go to the other photograph?
Yeah.
photographs? There were 2 pages.
Yeah, there's 3.
Oh, 3, okay. Um, there's one that shows a bunch of shoring, I think kind of on the left side. So maybe it's the other one.
Well, you can see it right here,
Oh, go.
right here.
Yeah, so that's my question. Could you go to the one right before that?
Yeah, number 2.
This one.
There, that one. That shoring is going to remain?
No.
No, it comes out. And will all that be backfilled then? That'll be under?
Yes. So you can see the edge of the curb here.
Yes.
And there was another picture that showed the drain going around, but we have 2 drains. We have the leak detection drain. This membrane right here there's a monolithic membrane that goes completely underneath the whole tank.
Yeah.
And what they've done, can you go to the next slide?
Thanks, Lisa.
This is
for jumping around.
Okay, this is a little bit better view. So they've put 2 pipes that go around and one is on the inside and then this membrane gets folded over like a burrito.
Oh,
That's a leak detection for underneath the tank and the bottom portion of the tank that is buried. And then there's another one on the outside that is picking up if any groundwater or anything were to be picked up or just penetrating through the soil. So that's what they're doing, but they'll get that in, backfill it, and then next month we'll be reporting that to you. Then all the electrical and communication conduits will go in, and that'll get filled up all the way to the road, and they'll pull the shoring as they go. Once they get under 5 feet, they can start pulling the shoring. But it's a possibility that those I-beams might be stuck,
yeah, oh, yeah.
and they just cut them off.
Yeah.
But with Ranger, we got them all out except for one behind the said basin. They're gonna try to pull them. They're too expensive to just leave. But if they can't get them out, they leave them, I don't know, I'm gonna say 20% of the time.
And if you were to point to the side of the tank there by the white hard hat, how high will it be filled?
Out, you see, it's kind of hard, but that red mark right there
Right.
is the ground level.
That's
It's a
great.
piece of tape that's,
And when they fold the fabric over and they put the drain in, that's to find if there's a leak coming out of the tank. If water runs down the side of the tank, how is it excluded from going into that?
It's not fabric, it's an impermeable membrane.
Yeah, but so if this is the pipe and it's laying over like this, right? And this is the side of the tank, I'm assuming that that's the way it's being wound.
Yes.
If water comes down the tank, isn't it possible for it to go in to that seam, or how is that?
as luck would have it,
Yeah.
we're going through this right now, and we reached out to the design engineer because there's another drain system. It's called a mirror drain that goes alongside. We used it at the
Yeah.
Stead Basin,
Yeah,
and how I tried to explain it to Mary is Plinko. Remember Plinko from
Yeah.
Price is Right?
Yeah.
It's a reverse Plinko game, so the water has channels to go down and get out, but it's an impermeable membrane that nothing can go into it this way. That ties in and goes underneath it, but what's gonna seal it is it goes 6 inches from the grade. And the one question we asked was, how are we gonna seal, because we're paving asphalt over it.
yeah,
There has to be, I mean, there's so many industrial caulkings that they can put around. It's just not specified in our plans.
yes.
So I don't have an answer for you now, but I promise we will have an answer next month.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to force an issue, I'm just curious because, we work on waterproofing in those scenarios too, and
Yeah,
And so if you have an inspection system, you want to be sure that only the kind of water you want to get into the inspection system gets in. And so that's my curiosity. I'm just
Yeah,
curious
well,
about it because,
Mary, Darren and I have had a couple meetings about it this week.
yeah, water's crazy stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so we're trying to see their intent, and if their intent is it's in the rainy season and there's gonna be water, it's not the end of the world, but we're hoping that we come up with a fix.
well, I can't imagine it really leaking at all.
No, well, we would
But
see
it
it
just-
leaking right now,
Just
you know,
curious.
and there's nothing, so.
What about, will you have some clean soil against the tank there where you could put some vegetables in or flowers?
Yeah, we got to plant this.
It's actually all gonna be paved.
Oh,
I thought the plants were going on the roof.
Well, those are
May I?
the special ones.
May I sort of summarize? Director Coverdale has asked a very germane question, which I guess the staff has also been considering and concerned about. And they're going to take the momentum of going forward to make sure that whatever needs to be done will be done to prevent any, shall they say, surprises or unplanned events from occurring in this new massive, expensive tank. And they will get anybody involved who they need to make sure that we're covered. And so it's good that we're keeping them honest. That's what we're here for. That's why this board is so good at what they do. Because nothing slips by us, nothing. And we will make sure that this gets to be done correctly and with the appropriate attention. Is that the fair
Yes.
statement? I'm just, no, I'm learning.
Bring it back to you next month.
I'm learning about all this stuff. It's cool. It's good stuff, and we need to be sure that we are watching this. Now, when this new tank at the end of July, whenever we plan to do this, it will be pristine, ready to rumble. It will be ready for exhibition. We'll be able to show it off and tell people this is really the best thing since sliced bread. We have made this the best it could ever be, and we are very proud of what we've done. Is that correct? Is that what our intent is? Okay, so I'm counting on you guys to make sure that at that thing we do, that's the story, and that we are absolutely 100% honest about it. And so that's all I need to know, because this is really something that needs to be presented in that way. And I am really looking forward. So thank you. Keep it up.
Thank
We're almost there.
Thanks.
Is that correct? Almost there, almost there. Appreciate it. All right, now. We gotta find it. Yeah, not yet. We're in item. Eight. Seven. That's mine. Okay. And that is, it's the operation general manager report. Sorry about that. I just. Thank you.
Okay, so on February 19th, our staff attended the SFPUC annual wholesale meeting. And so the CFO of SFPUC gave her presentation about the expected rate increase. And so it's not final yet. The commission, I guess, will vote on it in April, but we're expecting right now a 7.4% rate increase from SFPUC. Last year at this time, they were telling us that we would have a 1% increase in the rates. But what happened was that the SFPUC went back and looked at projections for water use, and the water use has been down among all of the wholesale customers, and so they adjusted the volumes since SFPUC's costs are largely fixed. And they have debt and their operations are fairly fixed. You have a smaller pie to spread the rates. So and just to give you an idea, I did put some backup of the presentation, but I did look back last year at this time. They were expecting that in fiscal year 2027, that the wholesale customers would use 136 million gallons, and now per day, and now they're estimating 125 million gallons per day.
Wow.
So so anyway, so that's.
Like.
Well, that would not be a surprise in terms of our experience in our use. Is that correct? We've
Right, I
seen
mean,
less use here. I'm assuming this is pervasive throughout the region, and so they're all thinking, doing the same things that we are and having the same issues. And SFPUC is simply summarizing all of that. So the question is, our yearly cost of SFPUC water is approximately what amount?
2.6,
How much?
2.6, 2.7 million.
Okay, so we're going from 1% to 7%, so that's 6% more theoretically on 2.6 million. What does that equal to approximately?
For every percentage increase, a percentage point increase is like 26 grand. 26 grand for every.
Okay, so 6% is about 125K more.
Yeah, about 150.
150.
Yeah.
So that means that the finance committee, obviously, as we move forward, will have to understand that some things are going to increase in terms of operational costs and discern whether or not that is a sufficient increase to mean that there have to be some actions taken. But we don't know that yet, and we have to still look at the next year's business. So, okay, so it's good to know that it's not an increase that we can't probably deal with going forward. It's just something probably that at this point is not unexpected. Is that correct? But it's good that we know, and it's good that they've announced it, and it's good that we have numbers at least to deal with going forward. And probably work forward from there. Other comments from the director?
Well, look, we'll still be cheaper than gas.
Yes, that's not. Chris, anything?
No,
Okay.
no, it's, you did a great job of explaining it, yet some of the Bosco members couldn't wrap their head around why it was going up. I don't know how they made it to Bosco. Again, it's something quite simple, and you sell less and you have your fixed costs are hardened. I mean, what else are you gonna do?
We're not the only one that see that and live that way. I don't know. It's interesting. Anything, Ken?
Well, the only thing that I was thinking about today
Sure.
was just looking at the cost of gas. And it seems inconsequential, but we do run a few vehicles around the district. And so,
Yeah.
you know, that's another budget that we're gonna have
Oh,
to pay
yeah.
attention to. And that's not a huge one, like a 7% increase, but you know, I think it's the old story of life in America and especially California. As I kept seeing in the news, they keep complaining that gas is up to $3.48 a gallon. My gosh, I'm lining up for that stuff.
It's
not here.
$3.19 in Texas. I talked to my daughter today.
I guess.
You know, and so it's just,
No,
it's the nature of what
Right.
we deal with.
So this is one of many things. I agree with you.
Yeah, so
And they will all impact the budgeting going forward. And so we take that as it comes and do the best we can to incorporate it in our planning. Beyond that, you know, that's where it is. And it certainly isn't ending and there's more to come. So we'll just keep plugging away at it and banging at it and fixing it and doing what we have to. Okay, other Mary on your part?
I attached the latest water supply availability estimate from SFPUC, and we're in good shape with the rain. So they're, you know, still expecting that they'll be able to meet the water demand for the water years.
and we're still hoping for a March miracle of the Girl Salvation.
The word out that they have been reporting was that there was, the snow cover was about 2/3 of what they've seen in the past. So does that have some impact going forward? I mean,
Yeah.
Kathleen's the expert. I'm not. And Ken is, you know, the snow bunnies are the
Well,
experts.
I'm not in the mountains, if that gives you any indication of my
So,
story.
I mean, what is,
Well,
we have enough for next year, they said.
Yeah.
But that's still less. I mean, given all what we've seen, it seemed like it was really remarkable, but avalanches and all kinds of stuff, but it's not done the job.
Well, we will get the final report with the snowpack in
Sure.
early April, but right now, all the reservoirs are.
Yeah,
full,
it's-
So
Sure.
we're in good shape right now.
Okay, so that's the update and it's business as usual. And then we got that for you. Then we got operation and operation, nothing highlights.
Yeah,
Mr.
We'll make this quick. So the Pillar Studios well field, been making great progress out there. All the wells have been drilled.
And probably at the time of this, we had started developing, but they're all completely developed now. And some of the hardscaping or the concrete and all the apparatuses are starting to go in this week, so that's good. Updated the WIMS production database. There's a lot to that, but it's the database we use for all reporting, basically. Treatment plants, all the sites, everything. So that's a big one. Conducted the LT2 sampling, replaced a pump and motor up at Ogrenada Tank 3 site. Continued fire hydrant maintenance. You guys haven't been out to the Denison Water Treatment Plant lately. Those guys have really done a nice job and all the painting and labeling and all that. I think you guys are just about finished, right? Out there? Both plants.
No,
Did have a couple days offline for Denison due to the weather, and our new maintenance worker Jose Gonzalez passed the D2 exam, and operator Carson Anderson passed the D3. So guys are continuing to move forward with their certifications, which is great.
Awesome, thank you.
Any questions for
I think there's.
Aaron? Yes,
Just make a comment. I heard about it earlier. I was in line at the pharmacy this afternoon, and a couple people were talking to me about they were away on holiday and they had the water flowing, and staff stepped up and took care of it all. So I told them I would thank them all tonight for that far advanced. I never realized that they could be monitored when water was running. So that was,
been great.
they said how great Coastside County Water District was. And
What a smart stuff.
wanted to make sure staff heard us.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, the items, is that, yeah, that. Any requests for future items and on the agenda? Hearing none, we will adjourn the meeting.
Thank you.
Look at that. Before you guys leave, I have one.
Recording stopped.